statement saying that he does not endorse the offensive action from Turkey into northern Syria. What's your reaction to this?
His actions speak louder than words. You know, he's not bringing our troops home. He's pulling them back off the line, off of the northern border of Syria with Turkey, and basically left an invitation, a green light open for Erdogan and his forces to go in and to begin the slaughter of the Kurdish forces, the Syrian Kurds.
And do you think that his decision to do that is going to affect his re-election or affect his campaign?
Who knows? Who knows? He has been very unclear about what his plan is. He has been lacking in transparency about how we got to this situation today, and how really it has been his administration and his lying to the Kurdish people, the Syrian Kurds, and saying, you know, we're here for you, we're going to supply what you need, we're here to support you, and then blocking them every step of the way when they've tried to reach out and actually negotiate and find some form of reconciliation with the Syrian government so that they could form a common defense on that northern border against the Turkish invasion. Trump's failure to end the regime change war and his duplicity in this causes him to bear responsibility for what's happening there.
Do you think more broadly, just in the region, especially for stabilization efforts, that the U.S. has lost leverage in talking with some of Middle Eastern world leaders and their governments?
What do you mean by that? Leverage?
Just in terms of by announcing necessarily a timetable to withdraw, do you think that countries might just wait it out instead of talking immediately or negotiating with the U.S.?
With Syria, with respect to Syria?
Well, just in general.
The issue is, I mean, we've heard a lot of talk, but there hasn't, to my knowledge, even been an announcement of a withdrawal of forces, whether it be from Syria, Iraq, or Afghanistan, what to speak of a timetable. So, look, I think one of the things that's problematic here is we see really no clear plan or strategy, and most importantly, no objective. Like, why are my brothers and sisters in uniform continuing to be deployed, putting their lives in harm's way to accomplish what objective? It's not clear to them, it's not clear to the American people, and yet we're continuing to see our troops killed in combat. We're continuing to see our taxpayer dollars going towards, you know, continuing the regime change war in Syria and the nation building that's gone on in these wars ever since. This is why I have been for so long, and I'm continuing to call for an end to these counterproductive regime change wars, bring our troops back home, rededicate these precious taxpayer dollars towards actually serving the needs of our people.
In terms of moving on to the debates, back on the debate stage in a few days, with more people on the stage, how are you preparing to kind of get more time and like break out and ensure that there's more equal and fair time on the stage?
All I will say is stay tuned.
Okay.
I wouldn't tell you anyway.
For sure.
Don't take that personal.
One more question going back to Syria. Senator Van Hollen and Senator Graham have said that they are going to introduce legislation next week that would put sanctions on Turkey for offensive action against the Kurds. Is this legislation that you would support?
I'd have to look at their legislation. You know, I would go one step farther and say that the United States should be leading the effort to get Turkey kicked out of NATO altogether. They have not been for a very long time, nor are they now fulfilling the mandates and the principles of what it means to be a NATO ally.
And as a member of Armed Services Committee in the House, do you have a plan to put legislation forward?
That's what we're looking at.
Do you think more broadly, with the number of people on the debate stage, that is this a sign of a healthy Democratic Party or kind of a party that's unsure of what it wants right now?
No, this is, you know, I don't know why kind of establishment political elites in Washington think that having a rigorous primary election where you have a lot of diversity, you have a lot of different choices is a bad thing. It's a good thing. We're giving voters the opportunity to choose between people with different set of experience and background and ideas and leadership. the DNC should not be arbitrarily trying to cull this field and trying to be the ones who choose. Well, you're the only ones who voters get to actually hear from. That's the responsibility that voters have, and it's one that I know voters here in Iowa and New Hampshire and other states take very seriously, and are not taking kindly to the DNC trying to usurp that role that they have.
Thank you.
Alrighty, guys, thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.